All right, I asked you all what you wanted to see this week, either a meta breakdown or a fundamentals lesson. You guys chose fundamentals. So today we're attacking sequencing. How to fix your sequencing mistakes so you can have an advantage on your opponent. What's up everyone, it's Garrett with Talking Cards, and today we're breaking down sequencing. I asked some of you guys on YouTube what you guys wanted to see this week, and you guys chose a fundamentals lesson in sequencing. So sequencing is a big part of every card game, especially Gundam. When there's things like burst targets and shields, you have to kind of play around that by sequencing. That's the quickest and easiest way to kind of up your game, I think, is to learn how to sequence, whether it's attacking the shields, attacking into your opponent, or even just your play order because of how it gives information to your opponent. And I'm going to show you guys and demonstrate this through a couple of clips that I've recorded of gameplay. So let me break that down for y'all. All right, guys, let's get started with this first clip. This first clip is pretty standard in the sequencing, but it's a great place to start. So let's just get to it. We got gun cannon on board, and we're going to attach this Amuro to gun cannon first. That just makes sense because we need to rest this blocker. Unfortunately, we won't be able to take advantage of gun cannon's effect, but for our purposes, it doesn't matter. We rest Liverith right here. Now we can swing that gun cannon into Liverith, and we get our repair and everything. Everything's hunky-dory. Now we can use Versailles, boost the GM, and swing into that EX space because now we swing for 3. Now swing the Gen. Boom. Unforeseen incident in life, and that's why we play around these things. That's why we even went for a board and attacked into the Liverith. We could have had a burst that could have hit any of these guys, but in this way, no bursts matter, and it's just a way to be super proactive in the game, and a pretty standard sequence right there. All right, guys, in this clip, I'm going to show you a card called Show of Resolve and its timing, and why I think it's really important to either play it first or last. And I'm going to use 2 different clips to demonstrate that. This one will be first, and this one will also show a couple of things about how we navigate the turn correctly with our sequencing. So let's start with that Show of Resolve. And you'll see here, we play Show to draw 2 cards. And off of that, we're going to get a Versailles base and an Amuro Ray. That Amuro Ray is going to be really important here to rest the Wing Gundam burn mode and to swing at our opponent's base, which has 6 health. If without that Amuro Ray, we would have had to put the Merida on it. Thankfully, we got to save the Merida, use the Amuro to get so much more advantage here, because now we've set up something. By resting that Wing Gundam burn mode, we can now swing the gun tank into the shield area. Hopefully, no burst, so we got lucky, and Rezel now into the shield area. Now you're probably wondering, why not use Rezel to take out Wing Gundam bird mode? Well, this is why sequencing matters. We've rested that Wing Gundam bird mode, and now we're trying to extend our advantage. So by swinging the extra attack into shield area, we have minimized our opponent's shields, of course, but now we can also play gun tank with our last resource. We're gonna have to burn our EX resource, but that's okay. But now we ping this Wing Gundam bird mode to 1 HP left only. And because of that, now when that Wing Gundam burn mode goes to swing into anything next turn, it can't swing into a Rezel and KO it. I know I'm playing against green whites, and they can't play Wing Gundam 0 next turn, so there's no way to remove my board or Rezels. So this Wing Gundam burn mode can only go into the gun tank at this point, and at that point it's a trade. I'm trading on my terms instead of their terms. This sequencing allowed me to do that correctly, and that's big. In this clip, I'm going to show you why we would use Show of Resolve last. So I'm going to swing this Rezel that I have on board into their life because I want them to block with the Liverith. The Liverith has 4 attack and 5 HP, it's huge, and I want to get rid of this as fast as possible. So I don't want to give my opponent any extra information of what I'm doing with my turn. So it incentivizes them to take this block with the least amount of information available. So we attack here with the Rezel to try to bait them into doing just that, blocking, because we know we have the gun tank that we can play to ping this and remove it off the board. Works perfectly, and then we attack with Gen into the X base, clearing it, and we get to play out Show of Resolve to end our turn, draw 2 cards, and set ourselves up for the future turns. This is a perfect way to sequence here to use what's on board and to maximize my resources and not give my opponent any information sooner than I need to. All right, guys, so I saved this clip for last because it really shows off a little more advanced sequencing, as well as showing some cool things with red-blue that pertain to it specifically. So on board, we see an Ale Strike with a Banneker, so that makes it a 6 HP, 6 attacker, and a Liverith with 2 attack, 4 HP. So in this scenario, we can't use Amuro Ray to rest Ale naturally. However, we have Kshatriya in hand with Amuro Ray. So we're going to play down the Kshatriya here, and when we do that, we can now attach the Amuro to it to make both when paired effects happen simultaneously. So since they both happen simultaneously, we get to choose which one goes first. So we get to choose to ping 1 damage onto the Ale Strike, and then 1 damage onto the Liverith. Now with Amuro Ray, we get to rest the Ale Strike. This is perfect for us because now we get to send these attackers into shield, and we know they only have a Liverith to block. This is perfect. So we did that sequencing perfectly, and now we get to start attacking. So we're going to use Versalis to increase one of these gun cannons to 3 attack. Now if he uses Liverith to block, well, I get to KO it, and I will heal the damage that Liverith deals by 1. So it makes sense to use it there. Now he will not block because it doesn't make sense for him to. But that's a skill check, and we need to do that. Part of sequencing is, presenting skill checks to our opponent. So then we swing Gun Tank into the shield area. Nothing happens. They lose a shield, no burst. Now we swing Jin into shields, One Piece player. And then Banneker gets bursted out. So now we know they get 1 more card. It's okay. We know it's in hand. And we need to be wary of that knowledge. But it's time for us to swing Jim first, and here's why. They have Liverith on board with 2 attack power, 3 HP due to our Kshatriya this turn. They are incentivized to block this attack. The reason why is, if they don't block this, I won't swing the gun cannon at all, and the Liverith did nothing this turn. So they have to block this. But by blocking it, I can now swing the gun cannon into the Liverith, remove a blocker off board, and only take 1 damage, and it worked out still the best case scenario for me. You could argue that I could attack into the shield area. But however, I think this is a better use of our advantage. We're so far ahead on board, I want to remove this Liverith on my time before it can go into another character and move 2 cards. I'd rather it be only losing 1 card and I lose out on 1 attack into shields. So this GM goes into shields, and we'll see if they block. I think they will. They do block, so now we can send the gun cannon into the Liverith, removing the blocker off the board, and we get to heal 1 of those damage. Perfect. This is a great sequence turn, and now we get to play Rezel, and we're presenting a dangerous board state here with Kshatriya and Rezel still active. All right, well, that does it today for our sequencing video. I hope you guys have learned something today that you can take and put into your game. Every week, I try to give you guys something that you can take with you and improve your game on. Hopefully that was accomplished this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I always love reading what you guys have to say and try to interact as much as possible. And once again, guys, thanks for watching.